Have you already started to learn French, but you feel that you are not progressing as fast as you would like? If so, I have 4 tips for you to help you progress more easily and quickly. Hello! 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 Welcome to a new French Mornings episode. If you are new around here, I am Elisa and I help you improve your French and speak in a more natural way. Feel free to subscribe to the French Mornings channel and activate the bell to be informed of future videos. Today I'm going to give you 4 tips to make learning French easier and faster. So make yourself comfortable, have a little coffee, remember to turn on the subtitles if you need them, and let's go. Before starting to get into the heart of the matter is an expression that means the heart of the matter, to get into the most important part of the subject. So before getting to the heart of the matter, I wanted to tell you that the transcript of this video and all the other videos available on my channel are also available on my FrenchMorning.com website. You can therefore find all the transcriptions on my website, and if you want to support the French Mornings project, you can also make even a very small donation on the website. My first advice for you to learn French easily is to listen and memorize the lyrics of songs in French. This is an advice I give to absolutely all of my students. I think music is really one of the best ways to learn a language, and I'll give you some reasons. The first one is that it allows you to work on pronunciation through repetition. In a song, we often have a chorus. The chorus is the piece of the song that comes back several times. So it's something that we listen to many times. And if you also learn the lyrics of the song, you will repeat, and repeat again, and your pronunciation will improve very naturally. The second reason is that it trains your memory. When you learn something by heart, so when you memorize something, you improve your memory. And this is very important when learning a language. The more song lyrics you will learn, the more vocabulary you will learn. And you will also learn phrases already made for you. You won't have to think about it when you are going to use them in a conversation, since you have memorized them through the song. This is something that I have spent hours doing. I started learning English when I was about 11 years old. And I learned English because I like to sing, because I like to learn song lyrics, and so I'm going to show you something. This is the workbook thanks to which I learned English more or less. If I show you what's in there, there are hundreds of song lyrics, but really hundreds. And when I was around, let's say, when I was a teenager, so when I was between 12 and 16, I spent hours printing all these texts, putting them in this binder, and then I would memorize them. I would repeat them many, many times, and that's how I learned English. Because in the end, by memorizing lots of songs, it's as if I had created a library of phrases already made for me, and therefore having conversations in English and having a good pronunciation was something that had become very simple for me through song lyrics, through music. My second tip for learning French is to write a little bit every day. French, as you know, is a language with a spelling of its own. A little bit peculiar, you could say. It's not a logical spelling. So compared to other languages which have a more transparent spelling, more phonetic than French, you have to work a little more. Besides, most French people themselves do not have a perfect spelling, and it is very common for many people to make spelling mistakes, to have doubts on many questions of agreement, etc. So writing a little bit every day is something that will allow you to work on all of this. It will allow you to work a little bit on spelling, a little bit on grammar and vocabulary as well. But it has to be fun. You must want to do it. We have to find a reason. As I mentioned in a previous video, find out why you want to speak French. Find out why you want to write in French. I will give you 2 possibilities. The first one could be to keep a journal in French. For example, every day you write down what you have done during the day. It can be 5 sentences. There is no need to make a big text. So keeping a journal can be a good idea to see your progress from the day you start until 1 month, 2 months, 3 months later, maybe years if it's a habit you develop. The second possibility is to find a partner to whom you can write in French, like a correspondent, you could say. There is an app called Tandem where you can meet people who want to learn the language you speak and who speak the language you are learning. And so it connects you, and you can send each other written messages, and the person across can correct your spelling, and you can do the same. So it's a good exchange system if you want to improve your spelling and grammar in French. My third advice is not to translate literally, or rather not to develop this reflex, because if you start translating every word literally, it won't work. Each language has its own logic, has its own grammar, has its own functioning. So we cannot translate absolutely everything literally, and besides, some words are completely untranslatable or the meaning is not exactly the same. There is a little more nuance in one language or the other. But what's important to keep in mind is that you don't have to understand every word to understand the meaning of a sentence or the meaning of a text, or the meaning of a situation if you are watching a movie, for example. So really avoid having this reflex of translating literally when you want to switch from English to French or from your mother tongue to French. It's really not a good reflex because it doesn't always work. What should rather be developed as a reflex is to learn to think of the concept, to think of an idea rather than of a word, and to look for the exact translation. Instead, try to say to yourself, what is the message I want to get across at this time? And so my advice for that is rather to learn groups of words rather than trying to translate each word. I'll give you an example to show you why it can't always work. If we take a phrase that we can hear very often in conversations, it's, what are you talking about? In English, we have here 5 words, what are you talking about? In French, the expression it is different. To translate that, we will say, de quoi tu parles? We have here only 4 words, de quoi tu parles. So that's why we can't translate, what are you talking about? Literally. In addition, the word order is not the same. If we did that, we would end up with a sentence that means nothing. For this video, we're going to do it, but it's something I ask you to avoid. So if we translate, what becomes what are as you two talking parlant about à propos. So we end up with this sentence, quoi es-tu parlant à propos, which has no meaning in French. And finally, my 4th and last tip is a tip that I apply myself when I learn other languages. It is perhaps even the most useful tip of this video, even if your neighbors might take you for a crazy person, but it's the advice I really ask you to remember because it works. This advice is to talk to yourself. I know it can be weird and that for some people it is even a little very strange to speak to yourself out loud, but when you learn a language, it works very well. Why? First, because you have time to think. If you don't have someone to talk to, you can take the time to find your words better, think better, and also correct yourself because you are not caught up in the conversation that needs to continue, that keeps going. No, you have time to speak and make sentences correctly. In addition to that, you develop the habit of speaking aloud in French, so you have more time to work on the articulation, to pronounce the words well. And what you say doesn't matter. In this kind of exercise, for example, when I do that, for example, in Italian or in Spanish, I just try to describe what I am doing. If I'm cooking, it can be, well then, for this recipe, what do I need? Maybe I need an egg, some cheese, some pasta, then I'm going to take a spoon, I'm going to boil some water. It's really just about talking every day and getting into the habit of speaking. To be less intimidated by the language. And the more you speak in French, the more time you will spend with the language, the more easily you will think in French. And at the end of the day, this is what all of this is about. Thanks everyone for watching this video. I hope these tips have been helpful for you. Tell me if there are any tips you are already doing. Tell me if there is any that you really want to try. Please like the video and of course subscribe to the French Mornings channel for more motivation videos in French. I know it's a difficult language, but stick with it, keep going, and the efforts will pay off. Please subscribe my YouTube channel. Thank you and see you very soon.